2 years have passed since Tim and Olivia lost their child. The impact of that moment still sits between them, even though neither of them speaks about it openly. Olivia tries to find a way for them to reconnect, but Tim keeps turning to work whenever the subject hovers nearby. His new computer game is nearing release, and he sees this deadline as a reason to avoid anything that might slow him down. Olivia can sense his distance and is quietly reaching her limit. To force a change, she quits her job without telling him beforehand. She also buys an old Volkswagen van that she believes can help them start fresh somewhere else. Paris is the destination she imagines for them, a place she hopes can shift their focus away from the things they have avoided confronting. When she presents the van to Tim, he only sees a vehicle connected to memories he would rather not think about. Instead of discussing the situation, they decide to go out for dinner, partly to avoid another argument, partly because they no longer know how to deal with the silence growing between them. On their way back, they run into their landlord who is managing a renovation project on the building. Large tarps cover the facade. He tells them the work will be finished soon. While talking to him, they spot a thick column of smoke lifting into the sky from the harbor area. Helicopters circle the scene. Everyone on the street stops for a moment, unsure of what started it. The next morning, Olivia finally says out loud that she cannot continue like this and wants to end the relationship. Before Tim can respond, she heads for the door with her bag. When she tries to leave, she stops. The doorway is no longer a normal doorway. A solid black surface fills the frame. It stretches from floor to ceiling like a wall built overnight. She touches it and pulls her hand back immediately. It has no give, no roughness, nothing she can understand. Tim comes over and tries as well. The surface does not react. They look toward the windows and find the same thing. Every exit, every opening, every point of contact with the outside world has been sealed. The power is still on, but their phones have no signal. Internet is gone too. They drag out a jackhammer and ram it against the surface. It does not leave even a mark. A few minutes later, voices break through the silence. They come from the neighboring apartment, not shouting but clearly scared. Tim hits the interior wall, and this time the structure gives. They continue until the opening is wide enough. On the other side, they find Anna and Marvin, who rented the place through a short-stay service. They are just as confused. They woke up to the sound of static and found themselves boxed in by the same strange material. Tim searches their place and finds a sledgehammer. Olivia studies the structure of the building in her head. She knows the layout from old plans she once saw. She tells the rest that there should be a bunker beneath the ground floor. If the passages inside the building are still clear, the bunker might connect to an old service tunnel. They decide to try. The ceiling above the apartment below is the only direction not blocked by the black surface. Using the sledgehammer, they break through the plaster and the concrete until daylight from the lower floor appears through the cracks. Sheets and ropes are tied together long enough for them to climb down. Tim goes first. He lands hard, catching himself against scattered furniture. Before he can look around, an older man enters with a gun raised. This is Oswald, a pensioner who lives on the first floor. He is breathing heavily and does not trust strangers in his home. It takes several tense seconds before his granddaughter Lee arrives and tells him to lower the weapon. She wants to believe these people are not here to take anything. They are only trying to find a way out. When the others climb down after Tim, the group gathers in the living room. There is rubble from the hole above. In the debris, Olivia notices pieces from a smoke detector. Something inside it looks off. Tim pulls the device apart and finds a tiny camera integrated into the internal components. They check the second detector in the kitchen. The same thing. 2 hidden cameras in a single apartment raise suspicion quickly. They think of the landlord, Friedman. It would explain his unsteady behavior during the renovation. They decide to break into his place, which is right across Oswald's. Once they enter the landlord's apartment, they realize something is wrong. The place is cluttered with strange objects, items that look like souvenirs gathered from different countries. They move deeper inside and eventually find Friedman. He is on the floor, motionless. Both of his hands are missing. No one can make sense of what happened. No one hears any movement from outside the apartment either. Before panic can take over, Marvin rushes out to throw up, and Liv suddenly breaks down with a panic attack. Tim tries to steady her, but she pulls away and runs off. While looking around, Tim picks up Friedman's phone and finds photos of the strange black walls. The group then returns to the other apartment and starts tearing into the floor. They ask Oswald if he heard anything unusual earlier, but he says he didn't. He becomes anxious, and Leah helps him take his medication. Liv reads a newspaper and wonders if a fire reported at the harbor might be connected to what they're dealing with, though Tim doubts it. Before they can discuss it further, the floor gives way, and most of them drop into the apartment below. They are briefly unconscious. Liv brings a ladder down and checks on Tim, who wakes up stiff but not seriously hurt. The rest of the group gets up as well with only minor injuries. Oswald is afraid to climb down, but Leah insists on staying with him. With everyone helping, he manages to use the ladder and they bring his oxygen tank with him. In the new apartment, they find a man named Yuri, who says he was close to a tenant named Anton. Yuri explains that Anton died suddenly from a heart problem, which he believes was triggered by magnetic interference from the walls. Leah notices a stack of unusual documents in the room and becomes uneasy about Yuri's story. Yuri claims the black walls were put in place to keep people safe and insists they would be better off staying there. The group disagrees and continues working on the hole. While Leah looks through the papers, Yuri comments that Anton was overwhelmed by stress. When she steps out, Yuri secretly destroys one of the documents. Once the hole is cleared, they reach the basement and unlock an old door. A long corridor leads them to another room with a sealed exit marked as a path to underground shelters. Yuri watches from above as Liv manages to force it open, but behind it they find another barrier made of the same black bricks. Marvin panics and starts hitting the door with a mace until Tim stops him. Oswald raises his gun to keep Marvin under control. Marvin pretends to settle down, then suddenly grabs the gun and fires at the black bricks. The bullets float in midair because of the intense magnetic pull. Tim warns everyone to duck as they shoot back in the opposite direction. Oswald cannot move quickly and is struck by one of the bullets, killing him. Leah holds him, crying. The group returns to the apartment in shock. Anna wonders if they were brought together for a specific reason. She shares that she once stopped breathing for 2 minutes after a bike accident when she was a teenager. She asks if anyone else has experienced something life-changing. Leah mentions losing her mother to cancer. Yuri says he once killed someone while working as a police officer. Marvin, who caused Oswald's death, keeps apologizing over and over. Tim avoids talking about their baby, but Liv ends up telling the others about the miscarriage. Tim leaves the room right away, and Liv follows him. They argue, and Liv says they need to finally face what happened because they might not survive this situation. Tim loses his temper and they start shouting loud enough for everyone to hear. He accuses her of wanting him to quit his job without warning. Liv fires back that it wasn't sudden at all. She explains that after the miscarriage, Tim shut her out and spent all his time on his computer instead of talking to her. She says she had to handle the loss alone and believes he abandoned her. She walks out, leaving Tim upset but determined to help the group. Tim leads everyone back to Friedman's apartment to continue searching. Leah suggests they should also look at Anton's notes, even though Yuri claims he already checked them. The group splits up. Leah finds one of Anton's papers that shows the same pattern as the black wall. It also shows the same 4 points Liv noticed earlier. Anton's business card reveals he worked for a nano-defense company, which suggests the wall might be made of nanotechnology. Yuri says Anton was a programmer but insists he doesn't know more about his job. Leah also finds a broken laptop and phone in a drawer. Yuri says Anton smashed them against the wall out of frustration. In Friedman's place, Tim notices the room seems smaller than it should be. He taps the wall and realizes it's hollow. Marvin finds a remote. When he turns it on, a sensor lights up but a password is required. Tim blows dust across the remote to see which buttons were used most often, narrowing the possible codes. While Liv and Leah search through Anton's trash, they find a paper with the word code written on it. Yuri starts laughing and says opening the wall might expose them to dangerous radiation. Before anyone can reply, Anna arrives saying they discovered something. After trying several combinations, Tim finally gets the password right. A hidden door opens in the wall, revealing a room with computers monitoring each apartment through cameras placed inside the smoke detectors. When Anna and Liv bring Yuri in, Tim starts scanning the footage for answers and accidentally comes across intimate footage of Marvin and Anna. They move past that and locate the recording from the night everything changed. They watch a dark cloud appear outside the window, and the black wall suddenly forms out of it. They also see Anton's body lying in a different position from what Yuri previously described. Liv turns to question him, but he has already slipped away. Marvin leaves to find him. Leah uncovers more of Anton's body and sees dark bruises hidden under his scarf. Yuri suddenly appears behind her. In the computer room, the others watch another recording of Anton shortly before he died. He is off camera, but they see light flickering and sunshine coming from the stairwell, showing he must have opened the black wall. Moments later, he falls back into view as Yuri attacks him and strangles him. When Marvin enters Anton's room, he finds Yuri burning the remaining documents and sees Leah dead on the floor. Yuri moves toward him holding a burning sheet of paper and insists the wall exists to keep them safe. Tim arrives with Oswald's gun and finds Yuri choking Marvin. Yuri drops him and fights Tim for the weapon, firing once into the ceiling during the struggle. Marvin hits his head when he falls and blacks out. After Yuri gains control of the gun, he beats Tim and starts choking him. Marvin wakes up just in time, kicks Yuri in the face, and grabs the gun. He is about to shoot when Liv rushes in and tells him to stop, saying Yuri might know how to escape. Yuri tries to strike again, so Tim knocks him out. Liv closes Leah's eyes while Marvin and Tim tie Yuri up. Tim searches Yuri's bag and finds books about conspiracy theories. Liv tells the group that Yuri likely killed Leah after she discovered a way out, just like Anton. Anna returns to the cameras while Tim and Liv look through what's left of the burned papers. They notice the bricks of the wall come in different sizes, which doesn't make sense. One page shows a pattern that Tim realizes is a coded sequence similar to Morse. Liv shows him Anton's business card and Tim sees the company address is at the harbor where the fire took place. They wake Yuri and question him. When he refuses to answer, Marvin hits him. Tim fires a shot into the furniture beside Yuri to show he's serious, leaving Yuri briefly unable to hear. Yuri explains the wall is actually a defense system that activated by mistake during the fire. Marvin doesn't believe him and starts beating him again until Tim pulls him away. Anna interrupts with new information. She discovered Anton had created an app that scanned the bricks and revealed they formed a QR-style pattern. The 4 special points need to be triggered by light to open the wall. Liv brings the broken phone she found earlier, and Tim pulls the data from it to rebuild the app, then installs it on a working device. The group returns to the door, and the app shows the 4 spots. Tim presses them, and the bricks start changing into a fluid surface. Anna touches it, and the substance wraps around her finger. She pushes her whole hand in and says it feels warm and moving. Yuri warns it's unsafe, so Marvin hits him and tells Anna to pull her arm back. She can't. The nanobots drag her in and yank her leg next. The others try to pull her out, but the wall hardens again and forces them back. When it solidifies, Anna is dead, and the lower half of her body is gone, explaining Friedman's death as well. Yuri laughs and says they'll never escape. Marvin, overwhelmed with grief, shoots him several times and then turns the gun on himself. Minutes later, Tim apologizes to Liv. He says he broke emotionally after the miscarriage and didn't know how to handle it. They hold each other and talk honestly, finally reconnecting after everything that happened. Tim decides to try the app again, thinking he must have used the wrong sequence. Liv notices each button flashes a different number of times. They check the footage to see the order Anton used. Around the same time, Yuri regains consciousness. As Tim and Liv prepare to test the sequence, Yuri attacks and knocks Tim down with a headbutt, then goes after Liv. She stumbles backward and falls through the hole in the floor. Tim kicks Yuri down and jumps in after her. Tim and Liv run through the basement hallway and reach a door. Tim holds it shut to slow Yuri down while Liv uses the app on the black wall. Yuri manages to force his way in and starts choking Tim. The app works and the wall begins to open, but the 2 men keep fighting. Tim tells Liv to go because the wall is already closing again, but she refuses to leave him. Yuri prepares to stab Tim, and Liv hits him from behind with the mace. With Yuri down, Tim and Liv move through the last door and finally escape the building. Outside, they discover the entire town covered in the same black brick material. Olivia pointed toward their VW van, partially covered in ash. The keys were still in Tim's pocket. They got inside and pushed the engine start button twice before it stabilized. As they drove away from the building, the edges of the black structure became more visible. Every building along the street was wrapped in the same wall.